Here are some examples of online role-playing.
Why? Why are you afraid of me?
Look at you. Look at yourself.
Well, I was born this way. I cannot help it.
When I give the command for street firing, you're going to rush forward and form your file at the front of this line.
And you will know my name is E.L. fucking I when I lay my vengeance upon thee, Danny.
Okay, so these were some very dramatic and carefully selected examples of what role-playing is in the context of online video games. There is a lot to unpack here, obviously, and once you learn about online role-playing, even if you decide not to do it yourself, you'll realize it's an amazingly powerful tool that not only can help you improve your improvisational skills and challenge your creativity, it can help people cope with certain issues, work on themselves, grow and change in a variety of ways.
Why in God's name you brought a dead body in my office?
Well, he's not dead yet, but he got shot by them two boys.
Place him on the floor, let me have a look.
The elves of Mirkwood were left to die because the humans did not stand and help them. They're not doing the same thing. They're coming to aid Gondor. Lay down and die. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If you don't give me rye whiskey, I surely will die. I'll tune up my fiddle and rose in my bowl. I'll make myself welcome wherever I go.
The right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you in court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you at no cost by the state. You have the right to have that attorney present while you're being questioned. You have the right to invoke these rights at any point in time. Do you understand these rights as I've read them to you, sir?
You went real fast.
But first, let's get our terms straight. Role-playing is a very generic term, meaning to play a role. Essentially, if you're pretending to be someone in a make-believe scenario, you're role-playing. It's different from acting. There is no script. You just assume the role and portray it. Role-playing online is just a manifestation of it through video games. There are many online role-playing communities. They have a dedicated server and base the gameplay of their platform on the very concept of role-playing, taking sometimes draconian measures to make sure everybody is role-playing and staying in character while not doing anything that breaks the immersion. You often need to submit an application or even go through an interview to get into one of those more serious role-playing servers. What you tend to find there are unique gaming experiences. Role-playing online is a sort of a niche or a subculture because role-playing servers demand from the player's social creativity. That means you have an active role, not a passive one, in creating content. Collaborative content. Leave me alone. Who are you? I'll shoot. I'm not afraid to shoot.
I haven't done anything for 5 years to deserve my cigarettes.
Yeah, I know, right? You're gonna get your cigarette. We're just gonna stand there and wait for the rest of them.
It better not be fucking Redwood or I'm gonna be pissed.
So, now that we understand what our topic is and why it's important, let's back up a bit and start with the history of role-playing. So role-playing online started as a text-based format. That's all we had back then, with forums and text-based online servers, also known as MUDs, multi-user dungeons, ruling the land. Some still exist today, such as this fantasy role-playing forum or this fantasy MUD, which initially released, by the way, in 1991. Then, graphics came about. Yes, this type of amazing graphics you see in front of you. But graphics didn't necessarily create new dedicated role-playing communities. In fact, text-based communities still had the great advantage of being created by hobbyists, which means they had full control of the game. Commercially available games back in those days like Meridian 59 or Ultima Online would never bother to add world editing tools or modding capabilities. Those companies who made those games just wanted to create a game, not a tool for players to create games. In a way, I guess you could call it the dark ages of role-playing. But those players who still play those MUDs would strongly disagree with you. After all, you don't need graphics to draw into the imagination. But for those of us who like graphics, it took till 2002 for this one game to be a game changer. Neverwinter Nights. With tools to build your own multiplayer game worlds, it brought about a new age. There was an explosion of role-playing servers. Neverwinter Nights was the first true king of graphical, text-based fantasy role-playing. It democratized game world creation, gave power to the players to do everything they imagined, to build their own private persistent worlds. The result was an outpour of creativity and a whole host of dedicated role-playing communities for the medieval fantasy genre. And so, for an entire eon, Neverwinter Nights reigned supreme. Even today, the world editing tools offered in Neverwinter Nights are impressively comprehensive. In 2004, even the famous World of Warcraft, the commercial MMORPG that everyone was playing back in those days, adopted role-playing. Although not offering world editing tools, Blizzard, the company behind World of Warcraft, featured role-playing servers, which was a home to a great many role players who poured their hearts and creativity into that game. Although despite dedicated servers, those commercial companies wouldn't enforce any sort of role-playing rules, so a huge crowd of non-role players were still roaming about, and they certainly did not take role-playing seriously.
He just bowed to it! He just bowed to it! What is going on?
By the end of the year, Half-Life 2 and Garry's mod were released with enough modding capabilities to germinate some role-playing servers. City 17 was one of those game worlds, and this article by Steven Messner gave some publicity to the concept of role-playing. In the article he writes, "My name is Pritus Jenkins, Citizen 00670. I know this number by heart because in the last few hours I've had to recite it around 5 times. Such is life as a citizen in City 17, where the alien combine which patrol the streets love nothing more than to stop and harass me." In 2006, Neverwinter Nights 2 came about, which some, including me, argue that it was never as good as the first, as proven by the numbers that you can see here. GTA San Andreas also came out, and if you wanted to roleplay in the Italian mafia back then, that was the place. In 2009, Minecraft came out, and that's a whole other scary phenomenon in of itself. Minecraft is also known for its role-playing communities, but I just can't with the squares. I mean, you guys enjoy it, I just can't. In the same year, ArmA 2 came to existence, a military simulation game. Voice chats were also starting to be standardized for role-playing. And then, through the years, a whole host of games came out which gave role-playing a new life and face. GTA 5, ArmA 3, DayZ, Ark Survival, Conan Exiles. So today you can do just about any sort of role-playing in a variety of games, medieval, modern, futuristic, and anything in between. Now, some role-playing is good, some role-playing is bad.
What is wrong with your face? You don't have any face.
How do you look at my neck?
It depends on the server and the people. But when it's good, role-playing can be a very intense experience. It can change and challenge who you are. You can write detailed background stories, create a character based on yourself or something completely different. But be warned, it can have an effect on you. In fact, I also wrote a story about the intensity and power of role-playing, which is freely available in my channel. It's called Permadeath.
Now it's clear to me that it wasn't just your own fantasy world, but a fantasy world shared by many others. You all make it feel so real. And if this world will end and all shall perish, I now know who you truly were and how amazing you were. This one is all for you, Josh. You'll be proud of your mom yet.
I take role-playing seriously and intensely. This is me role-playing in an ArmA 3 server called Armstalker. Where am I? Where am I?
Stop.
Who are you? What is this place? I'm not the only one who is intense about role-playing and takes it seriously. YouTube user Mr. Moon made full role-playing movies, which you can watch on his channel.
Really got something here. This could be a small community.
We're gonna try and protect this place for you. Keep it up. We ain't gonna let it burn down.
It's been so long since I've had anything to fight for. A fresh start. A new beginning. A better tomorrow. Before this day, I had nothing. They had told me that a German doctor would be going over our test results. I had no goddamn idea that I was about to meet him face to face.
How do you do?
Well, we were in contact with an operator of yours. Went by the name of Denry. We're with the safe house. Down the road a bit to the south. North of Severgrad.
Oh, this is a safe house. Wunderbar. This is wonderful, yeah?
We're still waiting for a new contact. Are you...
We know. That would be me. Heinrich Kaiser. I am your new contact.
The doctor?
Please, come in, gentlemen. Open the door, now.
I told you.
It's important to know that technology didn't make the quality of role-playing better. Sure, it made it more immersive and maybe more powerful with the realistic graphics, but the role-playing itself isn't better in those game worlds. In fact, it is often argued the opposite. When people have only text to work, where they have to use words to describe everything, even their movements, that means that role-players in text-based environments tend to exercise their imagination more. This leads me to a very interesting topic, text role-playing versus voice role-playing. Now, one may assume as a natural progression of technology that voice role-playing would make text role-playing obsolete, but that's not the case. Role-playing in Neverwinter Nights is very much alive, and in fact even in games like Conan Exiles, despite having built-in voice chats, many serious role-playing servers still choose text-only style of roleplay, and they disable the voice chat. I was personally quite surprised by that last fact, but then I thought about it, and I realized that role-playing with text can often be more comfortable to people who don't want to use their voice for a variety of reasons. Cross-gender roleplay is a major obvious example. Yeah, I'm fine.
Right?
No, I'm just out for a nightly jog.
Alright.
Obviously, a more immersive role-playing server would assure players won't break other players' immersion with that kind of stuff.
The driveway, and that's when you guys also showed up. And that second time, and you know, she tried attacking us with the hatchet, as you guys all saw. So, here, ma'am.
You looking for some company?
No, ma'am. I'm married.
I'm very discreet.
I'll have to pass, and you know, I'm on something that might not be able to easily hold the both of us.
It looks like you got a second seat there. I'm okay with going for a ride.
Hey, bud, can you pull up further for me? Just right up there in that open area right there, not on the sidewalk?
Sure will.
Alrighty, thank you.
Listen. Why don't you just save us all, you know, save us all a headache here. Why don't you just come up in Mission Road?
This is America, and you drive on the right side of the road, not the left. So before you try to blame me for some shit, know the law.
I mean, it's messed up, so that means that you was sleeping here. I mean, you ain't gotta lie. If this your crib, if this where you stay, look, people be struggling out here. I understand. Look, stains on your bed, stains on your couch. Look, I mean, I ain't judging. Look, I ain't judging folks out here. I'm gonna be honest.
Of course, you can use a voice filter, but personally, I think it's messy and uncomfortable to manage.
You could always try to fake your voice, and that might be good enough.
Yeah, and they answered, and then I did the correct way and told them what happened, and they just never answered me back.
Some roleplay servers allow both text and voice roleplay, like Eclipse RP in GTA 5, so one does not have to necessarily negate the other. In general, it is my experience that text roleplay usually features more serious and mature people. That's not a universal truth, but an observation. I suppose there is some sort of gravitas that goes along with text-based role-playing. Yes, hearing a voice can be more powerful, but if the microphone is poor quality, the background noise is palpable, and the voice is kinda off, we might as well stick with text. Then again, it's only gonna be the voice role-playing that would bring about more popularity and renown to this subculture.
I'm gonna be a drinking man.
I'm gonna be a drinking man.
You gaggle of buttholes better tighten it the fuck up.
You better better tighten it the fuck up.
You bald-headed son of a bitch, keep fucking around and I'm gonna throw your fucking ass in jail by the top of that bowling ball looking head, Mr. Barkov.
So, we covered what role-playing is. Now, why should you do it? Well, if you want to explore a part of your personality, your alter ego, or just try something new, you can reinvent yourself to be whatever. I believe these are good enough reasons for some people to try it. Now, as to where can you roleplay, that's a difficult question. Very specific games give players the tools to create their own game worlds, most of those I mentioned. So, in those games we tend to see a higher concentration of role-playing servers. Role-playing tends to be more fun if you find yourself in a group with a common cause. So GTA 5 and ArmA 3, they have some life simulation servers that can give you a nice simulation of playing a cop, or an EMT, or a soldier. DayZ has zombie apocalypse survival role-playing servers. And also in DayZ and ArmA 3 and also in Gmod you can find role-playing communities based on the S.T.A.L.K.E.R settings, though these would be Russian-speaking servers. I happen to know Russian good enough, so I played in those.
С тобой точно все в порядке? Да, все хорошо, я не знаю. Куда ты зарядила, но вроде все нормально.
Role-playing in Russian helped me improve it, so it can also be used to practice language skills. Most roleplay servers are in English, and besides Russian that I already mentioned, there are plenty of German, Spanish and French servers that I can't play in because I don't know those languages good enough to carry a conversation. With Russian I could at least somehow manage, but it wasn't always easy.
Пойду я чуть-чуть погулять, размяжаться. Нет, ну...
Размяться.
Размяться.
Neverwinter Nights 1 and 2 have some fantastic medieval fantasy text-based role-playing game worlds. In fact, Neverwinter Nights 1 is how I got my start in role-playing. At any rate, these are the recommendations as far as I know. If you want to recommend a roleplay server that you know, feel free to use the comment section. Finding a good role-playing server isn't always easy. It's tricky and generally you have to search and dig through some shit before you find a good one. But it can be very rewarding once you find yourself in one and surrounded by like-minded creative people. I hope that made it clear what role-playing is, and you can just link to this video people who are asking what are role-playing servers or what is online role-playing. Yeah, hello?
How can I help?
Yeah, I got a complaint to make. Okay, so this city is gay because no one wants to do business with me. Okay, I've been standing in the crossroad for like 2 hours and I got no offers. This is ridiculous. I mean, check out this bod. Who wouldn't want to tap that, huh? So, what gives, officer? This entire city is gay or what?
Honestly, I can't think of anything to say.
Just like I thought. Useless police as always.
Wait, please, I don't want to die like this. I've got so much to live for.
I'm sorry. This has to be the way. I'm sorry. I'm gonna light the cannon now.
No, wait. No, I'm good at finding treasure. That map you've got, I know which island it is.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
Where is it?
It's Snake Island. I promise you. I bet my life it is Snake Island.
You bet your life, huh? Okay. Let's check this out. All right. Snake Island should be up and around here somewhere. Huh. I think she's right.
I was right, wasn't I?
We're outward bound for Vallejo Bay.
Is that a course?
Way, hey, roll and go. Get cracking, Mill, that's a hell of a way to be rollicking randy dandy-o.
No, I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love with you. With you.
Get that beat loaded up. Here we go. That boombox. So here comes the rain. Gotta put the fire out. Yeah. Alabaster Slam. He's a motherfucking pimp. Alabaster Slam. You don't wanna mess with him because
Кто такой Геринг? Но есть кое-что, о чем мне проведут урок. Мне сделают учебник. Жизнь не имеет смысла.
Friends, old friends, on top of a mountain, looking at the stars.
Lyrically, I am not that experienced, but let me tell you, I have resilience. Run into my job where I drive a van around the fucking island as fast as I can. I wonder how fast I can drift and steer. Oh no, it's Sheriff Thompson in my rear view mirror. Pull over to the side of the road, get ticketed, and my car gets towed.
I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry. All right, man. Okay. All right, yeah. That's how we do it, man. Okay.